Welcome into turn 61. Okay, so another turn with a lot of messages. We'll get through it. We cast some Mine Hunts on that lone Ryujin there. Managed to resist, it looks like. And then again, managed to resist. And then our last one, oh, I guess there was not just a Ryujin there because our mage's astral cord was found and severed. So they've gotten smart and they put astral mages in all those water provinces, right, to protect against Mine Hunt. And then we did cast Breath of the Desert on Atlantis' Throne Province to, start getting it ready for us. And we had a couple Magic Phase battles and some assassinations. So actually going to start with this Magic Phase battle, which this is where we Magic Phase them last turn with our golems and destroyed all those Ryujins, right? And so they come in with, check this out, 4 Ryujins, all air Ryujins, because that's what they have to be to Magic Phase. And they're set up to kill our golems here with... One has a great sort of sharpness. The other one has Moonblade. They've got slightly different equipment here, but relatively similar, right? And they have those extra attacks as well to harass us down, even though if they won't damage us in all likelihood. And then those other two, another great sort of sharpness, right? And another Moonblade. So, and we don't have our Windmasters because we had them retreat, right? And I should have moved my golems closer together here, right? But they just have the same script and they're in the same location. And so let's see what they cast before they come after us here. So not doing Wrathful Skies and we did swap out for the Ring of Tame Lightning, thinking they might do this, but they actually elected for melee attacking here. So here they come. And they all fly in the top golem here. And so what did they cast? Quicken Self, Personal Mist Form, which of course isn't going to matter, and then Liquid Body, and that looks like it's going to be the script for all of them. And yeah, so they are right on top of one golem, and our other golems can't fly down here. But he does have Boots Quickness, so maybe he'll get up there pretty quick. I think did we cast 5 spells? I can't remember what our script was now, but let's see what happens here. So we get hit right off the bat there. This was our wounded heroic golem, right? But he's punching back, and check this out. Almost straight away, 2 Ryujins get paralyzed from Astral Shield, right? So they did not have Magic Resist gear on, and Astral Shield's pretty powerful. They just have to fail once to get paralyzed, right? And then a third one gets paralyzed, and now it's just 1v1 here. And we have Reconstruction, and here comes the other golem. One goes down, and we're gonna have no trouble hitting these paralyzed guys. And yeah, it did not go the way Jomon hoped or planned, unfortunately. So we kill all 4 pretty easily. Our golem doesn't pick up any more afflictions, gets to about half health there. And if they had given Magic Resist gear or even Smashers, I don't know if they just forgot about Smashers or what, because they definitely have Earth commanders that could craft those. Could have gone differently for them if they didn't get paralyzed, right? Because with quickness and all those attacks at once, like they could have killed this first column and then got the second one. But hey, very good result for us. We kind of kill 4 Ryujins for free there. We didn't even have to plan anything or commit gems, and I think we kill 100 gems worth of gear. I think every single item they had cost 5, right? 5, 10, 15, 20, so 25 a pop. And yeah, pretty big win for us. And then in Sulfuria here, this is where I come in again with our Black Hawks, trying to catch their mages out again, and they actually bring a couple Ryujins in here, and they're air mages again. So I don't know if they suspected an attack, but they're geared very similarly. And so their mages had more gems, so there must be a lab here that has a site that they like doing for some kind of ritual. And we did land on the Ryujins, but they're mist form, and the Hawks aren't very good, right? They'd have to land right on top of something unprotected to kill it. But we burned more gems, and that feels worth it, and we've seen their setup now. And so they could retool their air Ryujins, but I mean, how many could they really have left? We've killed a couple before this turn. We just killed 4 more air Ryujins. We see 2 in Sulfuria here, but then we know they lost some against Andromania as well. So they might be pretty reluctant to Magic Phase those again. And then some more assassinations here from Jomon's ninjas. And this one's in a tavern. Got a couple sleeping barmaids here. And I can't really. He blesses first. All right. It's the same exact setup, right? With the Amulet of the Dead here. Kills that poor barmaid. And then Frozen Heart just takes one. So it was a water guy and another failed assassination attempt there. And then here we've got some bodyguards that are pretty intimidating and aren't going to be afraid of any skeletons, right? And he survives one hit, but not the second. So another failed assassination attempt there. And then the last one outside, we have our Skull of Fire sage. So he picked the wrong target here because he's going to summon a fire elemental. and skeletons have no chance, right? And then why not Falling Fires? Oh, he missed though, but yeah, doesn't take long. So three failed attempts there, and again, Jomon might be reluctant to keep sending assassins against us at this point as well. And then otherwise, actually all these battles, there's not much to see. We'll look at the map and talk through the turn, but as far as events, we still have disease spreading around in multiple provinces, unfortunately. In the Highlands, where our new throne is, the ruler's grown paranoid, and we get some negative events there. And then in Green Marshes, we just get a free temple, which, hey, why not? So it's because of this disease event, but to appease the punishing lord, we've erected new temples. So okay, we believe faith is going to help against disease. More disease, rumors of the plague, and then how about this? A great market was held in the province, 1,000 gold, which we were already kind of rolling in it, but we'll take it. And then we lose 9 astral pearls to a thief there. The Thorn of Misfortune is spreading, so we're going to have more misfortune for this month at least. And then, yeah, some more battles here. Jomon was attacked by Ichthids, and they held it off there. And we're still under siege in Pythium. I'm probably not going to relieve that unless our Throne Rush goes to hell, right? It doesn't feel worth it. We cured some disease and battle afflictions. And yeah, let's take a look at the map. So oh yeah, we probably want to watch this battle. So Jomon did not patrol, right, where we combined our two armies that had been raiding last turn. So it's just PD here. We can see our army. We've got fine ogre bodyguards back here. We've got our couple hash males. No communion, but we do some gifts from heaven straight out of the gate because we feel pretty safe to cast them before the battle lines collide, right? Getting closer though. Pretty close to our troops, but if it hits defenders, it's not the end of the world. And yeah, our formation feels pretty solid. Our mages can hit things from there, and then our hash should fly in here after we stop casting gifts from heaven, and they clean up the back. So it feels like a pretty good setup. And if they did have a big army and we collided here, the Baculites would filter in pretty soon after. And then we do have more mages on advancing cast, so they can be in range for better spells. But we're not going to sit on Jomon, right? 'Cause we're still just... It's all just kind of theater still. They still have not moved off Ashton, Iron Peaks, and at this point, they might just sit there the rest of the game. I mean, we'll see if they finally commit. I keep pinging these provinces because I'd love to see everything they do come at us with, but they still haven't moved. And so this is where we sent those Blackhawks, and they had those mages and Ryujins, and I'm just going to march our whole army into it. They might move away, and I am going to a little communion to hopefully protect against any magic that they, battlefield-wide, that they decide to do. So one communion master here is going to do Power of the Spheres, Will of the Fates, right? And then some astral healing in case they cast Foul Vapors, right? And we can heal up a little bit before our poison resist catches on, because we have our nature person doing Strength of Gaia, and then Gaia's Blessing here to get universal resist. And then we'll do relief as well, because why not? And we'll do a couple gifts from heaven from our earth mages out of communion, right? Before our hash males fly in, and we actually have 4 hash males now in this army. So if they keep all their mages there, then one way or another we're gonna kill them unless a disaster happens, right? And yeah, the other thing to see here is, so after the Magic Phase battle, they actually move in two more Ryujins. So let's watch there. So our golems had already moved away by this point, and against just our little PD, they still elect to use their gems, and it's different. They've got a nature one to do foul vapors, right, and then an earth guy here. I forget what he casts. Marble Warriors just for the two of them. So I think he expected more troops to be here. I'm not sure what the plan was, really, with these two extra Ryujins coming in after. We could magic phase them again, which I thought about doing, but I'm just going to mind hunt them with our best mine hunters, because there's no astral mages here, right? And now that they have Omnio in these provinces, we know that we can't do it there. So if we're lucky, we'll kill some more Ryujins either way. But with Jomon not really committing to attacking us in any meaningful way, like it feels like they're kind of almost a non-factor at this point. But we'll see. We'll see. So we did remove the Palisades in the Highlands, and I am casting the Wizard's Tower there, and I believe it should go up even before a Magic Phase battle, but I'm not sure. But we do have a lot of troops here. We're gonna have two golems, right? We have them ready to fly in back with Gift of Flight. And the other kind of fun thing I did here in this bigger battle is I'm giving Gift of Flight to Baculites here. I assume that's who they'll cast it on since they're right there. And so they're going to hold for 2 turns and then attack flyers. And so maybe we'll get 15-ish Baculites top and bottom to fly on Ryujins if they don't cast Storm, right? Which could be fun if they can support our hash mails back there. And I decided not to march our army in trackless wastes here straight away onto Snowford. We could probably get away with it. We don't have many mages, right? We have a good amount of air mages we could commit, but as far as doing a communion and getting resistances and everything we would want in a communion, I don't feel confident if they do patrol with a ton of stuff and their lich and so on and so forth. So what I am doing is just bringing in a golem, not even magic phase. He's just going to move in, and he's equipped with a firebrand, the charcoal shield, iron phase, elemental armor, boots of quickness, chains of reconstruction, ring of frost. So I don't think they have any access to air magic, nothing we've seen, and will be basically immune to any cold they could cast against us, right? And they're big cap only mages. Once they cast all their cold spells, right, they'll summon a lot of undead. But with between the firebrand and the fire shield and us attacking twice per turn, right, with this, I think we'll be able to chop through any amount of undead they can get before they go tired, and we'll just cause a rout or even get back and kill them, right? Because our combat speed isn't terrible with quickness. And we're just doing a simple script here of resist magic, astral shield, body ethereal, and yeah, we've seen how effective astral shield can be, although it'll be a little less effective with 2 astral instead of 3. But either way, I kind of assume they're not gonna patrol, but they could move and patrol, and then the following turn we're gonna have just a huge force here. And plenty of mages that we're reinforcing with, and we can kind of choose how we want to engage after that. So 1 turn to take the PD defense, 1 turn to crack the fort, another turn to storm, and then the 4th turn to claim the throne, right? That's the plan. So earliest would be turn 65, and depending on how confident we feel that same turn, we could go for the 2 thrones, right? And yeah, that's pretty much it. Just filtering troops around. Otherwise, I spent almost as much gold as I could, and we still have gold left, right? And we didn't really see much on the world stage. Arcus Folly is still sieging Ulm. They're still sieging Phrygia here. We lost another scout to this giant patrolling army, right? Which only seems to be getting bigger. Do they have? I guess just 1 bag of wine can feed all these troops. I guess not all of them need food, but yeah. Otherwise, Ulm's just kind of hanging on at this point. Arco looks like they're in a good position. Andromeda seems to have slowed down, and Jomon has just become passive at this point. So we feel pretty confident in securing the victory if we can out rush Arcocephali here, which they seem like they're a long way to go. Because they currently have 8 points, but to get 7 more, they're gonna have to, either take one of the thrones we're going after or attack Jomon here, right? Or even us, I suppose, right? But even if they take both of these thrones from Ulm and Phrygia and Troya, that's only 4 more points for them. So yeah, we feel pretty confident, and I hope you join me on the next one. Imagine that. Welcome in to turn 62. We got Master and Slave, and I actually scripted it for our next potential battle, so that could be really fun if we get a big one. And we claim the Throne of the Sun in the name of Victoria, the Prester Queen. But here we go, dire important that Snowbone, so Atlantis here, they've cast Maelstrom, wherever, I don't know if it says the name in here somewhere, but they're getting extra gems per month now. And we cast Breath of the Desert to kind of protect ourselves, or sorry, to in advance of our assault on the Atlantis throne, right? We cast a bunch of Minons at those two Ryujins that were hanging out here, and we actually failed all 5. So those Ryujins got away, but that's fine. And we did cast the Wizard's Tower, right? So now our throne is very protected. And we found some magic sites there. Glittering Stream, Enchanted Pyre, Mooncatch Lake, all very exciting. And why not another Sky Split Oak in Midland there. And our infiltration of Jomon was successful, so we can now compare a bunch of nations that are still in the game. Basically everyone but Andromania and Atlantis, right? And yeah, not as many battles as we've had. So let's take a look. So this is us sending our golem into Snowford. And Atlantis does not patrol, and it's just minimal PD here. So, of course, our golem's going to have no problems. We set him up to do a bunch of fire AoE damage between the fire shield and the firebrand, right? And he's very protected against the cold and against attacks as well. So we know that they're using slashing attacks on their mainline troops, right? And so we're not too worried about our golem being hurt by anything other than specific magic spells, right? Yeah, so we now are sieging, and it's just a little palisades. And then we did have a big battle here in Sulfurious. We marched off of Jomon with that same force, giving Gift of Flight here to our Baculites. And they had the same setup, so those same mages with some gems and those 2 Ryujins in back there. And yeah, we get our gifts from heaven coming in straight away. Mostly misses there. Is a good hit. And then we're gonna have some, yeah, there come our Baculites, and they land right on top of the Ryujins, as do the hash males. But their mages are ready, and they're sending ice strikes at us. And we have our own fire elementals here to counter their water elementals. Pretty fun. They just get in front of our defenders there. Another gifts from heaven, and we actually start losing ash males to these ice strikes. Pretty powerful, and our little Frostbrand is not protecting them enough, right? But we already killed one Ryujin there. And we put them to sleep pretty much instantly with their Baculites, right? Like, they max out on their fatigue, which is pretty fun since the Ryujins are sacred. But these other 3 mages are in a good spot since we just had everything target the Ryujins instead of having some attack rear, right? And so they were able to get off a bunch of spells and wreak some havoc, but look at all these craters. And yeah, it doesn't take long, and then their other mages get tired, and our Baculites are flying around. And yeah, we get the win. But not without some losses to our hash males. So if we take a look here, a lot of magic items. And so yeah, we do lose 3, but then kind of nothing else. 4 Baculites, 1 defender, and we do kill both Ryujins and those 3 mages they had. And they had a decent amount of PD as well, right? And so we actually recover all 3 of our Frostbrands and Mirrors of Long Lost Battles. So we just lose the gem investment from the Hashmales themselves, and then we find a bunch of their Dragon Burls. What else do we find? Boots of the Messenger on one of their mages, or on the Ryujins, right? Armor of Knights, Girdle of Might. and a skull staff. So we actually come out pretty well in terms of items and gems. And one of the dragon pearls actually lands onto our water, one of our water sages. So that's pretty fun actually, because we can actually use it. So pretty good result for us. And let's see, there were a couple messages. I thought I guess they come down here. Okay, so let's. I'm trying to remember what battle this was. Oh, right. So in the vast province next to Atlantis, I just had these troops hanging out to avoid being murdering wintered and just to be off the map, right? And so I had them attack Atlantis just to apply some pressure to their capital, and pretty much everything else here is other people's battles. So we can just look at the map. So I moved into Retha here, and I don't plan on advancing. I just want to apply a little pressure on this other front to Atlantis, right? And they're actually going to come back and support us here if Jomon ever decides to move off Ashington or Iron Peaks, right? But they still have not. They've become very passive, probably because we've been handing them so many losses with their Ryuchins and whatnot. They haven't tried a combined arms force yet, at least in mass. And for Atlantis, we might know why they didn't want to keep a lot of troops here. There's a well of pestilence, so spreading diseases. We know that their god was there, right? And they have a decently strong force that we've seen before, though. So just 6 cap only mages, and we think that's pretty accurate because that's what they had before. And then maybe some more in Atlantis, but they're not in range to get to Snowford. But regardless, we're bringing in a substantial force, 429 troops. I really hope they come to try to relieve the siege with their whole army, because this will be a really fun battle to watch, I think. So we still will have our column there, right? That took out the PD. He's in front, ready to go. We've got our mercenary swordsmen to absorb, fire and just make contact first. We've got a couple units of crossbows, again, just mainly to absorb fire. Our 7 very wounded giants of the Lost Tribe are there to just, again, absorb evocations, and maybe they can get back. And we just have basically our entire Air Force, right? I am keeping some Great Eagles in reserve in case this goes horribly wrong for some reason and we need to resiege the Palisades, right? But we have 5 squadrons of Bird Knights here with hold and attack large monsters. So they're going to try to attack those Tungaliks, right? The cap only mages, and disrupt them. And we have 2 units of Great Eagles attacking large monsters straight away to hopefully absorb their scripting, and they'll survive longer than the Bird Knights would. And we want the buffs to get on the Bird Knights before they get back there, right? That's the idea here. And then we're going to kind of do the same thing with our 6 Windmasters. We're going to have them give Gift of Flight to our Baculites and a unit of Defenders. And they'll also fly and attack large. And we just want to take out their big mages, and then we'll clean up the troops, no problem. And then as a third wave of assault, we have all of our Bird Knight commanders, in which I'm bringing a lot. And they all have bodyguards of either Great Eagles or Bird Knights, and they're going to hold for 5 rounds, get as many buffs as we're going to cast, and then be that third and final wave that goes in. And we are doing a big communion. We don't have a ton of mages, so I'm only doing 3 masters, and everyone else is a slave, right? And so, but we are gonna have some fun here. So with Bara, our Prester King, we decked him out. He's got a bunch of astral pearls, and he's gonna do master and slave for us. So I gave him a lucky coin and the rune smasher plus the spell focus. So he'll have +3 penetration on the master and slave. He's starting out with a little more astral, right? And he's protected with Armor of the Knights. He's got Boots of the Messenger and the Ring of Frost, right? So he should be pretty protected against whatever they throw at us. And his script is to time stop, Power of the Spheres, Will of the Fates, and then Master and Slave. And then he'll advance and cast spells. And then we have 1 Earth guy who I also gave a Ring of Frost. There's a chance Jomon might Murdering Winter, this province. There's 1 cold in it. And so I just want to make sure our masters, at least, were very safe from that. I'm hoping the 15 frost resist is enough, right? We gave him Earth Boots, so he starts off a little stronger, and he's going to basically get Army of Bronze and Legions of Steel for us. And then our Nature one, same idea with this Mace, Ring of Frost, bunch of Nature Gems. He's going to do Strength of Gaia, Gaia's Blessing to get our communion, a little more protected, and then the guy's blessing to get those universal resists, relief to protect our communion, and then why not army-wide regeneration. So we're gonna have some good army-wide buffs, but aside from our air mages, not a lot of combat casters, so we're relying on our troops. But based on what we've seen from Atlantis, I think this is gonna do pretty well. We have the Golem, right? Tons of troops, tons of things that are gonna fly him back, and I think it'll be pretty fun. So I hope they come at us, and because this is maybe our last big battle before going for the two thrones, right? So if Jomon's not gonna force an engagement, we don't have to either. They did try to set us up to be murdered and wintered on the capital where we had our large force before, and they also cast it in the highlands here to prep for that. Yeah, and so that was us in Snowford, right? And so we're actually neutral in here because we only just got our Dominion in here, and now our Dominion has Throne of the Sun, right? So we're gonna be more protected against Murdering Winter. There's only one in Trackless Waste, and it's not even our Dominion yet. It is Atlantis's though. But we're about to be in summer, right? So Jomon, see they saw our force here because we cut out the scout, right? So they might Murdering Winter this, and everything we're bringing here from Trackless Waste might be disrupted. But I think we'll have enough slaves, I hope, to get off our big spells if they do decide to Murdering Winter here. And yeah, that's most of our story is attacking into here. We're doing some raiding on Jomon in various places, continuing to march this army. The reason they were hanging out there is that they had a conjuration bonus in this site, right? And I'm gonna destroy the lab before we leave with our scout here. And yeah, I think Jomon is just purely on the defensive at this point, and we may not even have to worry about them because now that we have the Wizard's Tower up, right? And Arcos of Folly is continuing to push into Ulm, but they have not stormed either of these places, right? And Ulm actually comes out at them with their Heliophage, right? So pretty geared up here. Bunch of fire gems. Got the Wraith Sword, Horror Helmet, Elemental Armor, Boots of the Messenger, Ring of Regen, and Anti-Magic. So pretty scary. Has the Blood Slaves there. Comes with some Undead. But, I mean, look at this. And the Pretenders here. So, I don't think the one Super Combatant is going to be able to stop this. Plus a Super Combatant, right? But we'll see. I mean, I guess it's already been spoiled, but we'll watch regardless. Maybe there'll be some friendly fire this time, right? So what are our battlefield wides? We've got Blood Rain up, so they could rout, right? That's the idea here. Heat from Hell as well. But yeah, there she is. Yeah, she kills it pretty fast. Looks like. Let's pull up. Actually, didn't watch this battle. So yeah, Heat from Hell, Blood Rain. Has Phoenix Power, but I guess he was too tired to. Is it gonna show his fatigue? Yeah, he was just too tired to respawn there. So he goes down pretty fast, unfortunately for Ulm. And yeah, they lose nothing again. Unfortunate. And then in Ulm itself, it's a similar story. So a little bit different setup here with Death Magic, right? Skull Staff, Skull Face, Elemental Armor again, just the Messenger, Ring of Regen, and Anti-Magic. And a much smaller army here. We have these gelatinous cubes, right? And let's see. Hey, cast darkness, right? see. There we go. Rigor mortis and darkness, right? Okay. But horrors are coming in, and it's just a ton of troops, right? He's fatigued out already, and surviving a good long time. I mean, this is just chaff that's next to him at the moment, right? But without a way to... If this one was the Blood Rain Heliophage, it could have won, potentially. But yeah, there it goes. So unfortunate. And the one time I don't move a scout to Troya is when Marco's Folly moves in. So very sorry. I did want to show off that battle. And from what was said in the Discord, it sounds like it was a super combatant setup that killed that just giant army we saw, right? But almost advertising it multiple turns in a row and wasn't mixing it up with mages or gem support, right? So it's not surprising that that happened. We anticipated that. So Arkansas is getting closer, but now we're very close, right? We're gonna bring just a ton of siege strength in, even if we lose some troops or not everything makes it in, right? We're bringing flyers from elsewhere that's not in trackless waste, and then we'll storm the following turn, and I think I will try to take both of these. So we're getting very close, very close. I don't think there's really anything else to see or talk about. Some events, right? Trolling and whatnot, and so on and so forth. But I guess we could take a look at the score graph really quick, and we'll definitely do a after action report when we can see everything of how we did, how each nation performed, and how maybe we would have played differently, or just what our perspective is on those nations. And I think that could be really interesting and fun. But we see Jomon kind of middle of the pack here, right? For most of the game, and then of course they've faltered recently. Forts wise, they actually jumped out to a lead at one point and were there for a while, and then both Ulm and ourselves jumped in front of them. And of course we can expect a similar story for income compared to provinces, right? And then army size, Ulm's always been much bigger than everybody outside of the early to early mid game, and Jomon was hanging with us and Arco, and again they've faltered recently. So yeah, pretty cool to see more of the story with the remaining nations here. So hope you join me for the next few turns, and we're gonna bring it home. Imagine that. Thanks.